Hi, I'm Miggy.
I'm Vaughn.
Today we'll be talking about the field profitability application we've created for the hackathon.
The purpose of this application was to, I guess, pretty self-explanatory, just calculate the profitability of a given land. Obviously, this was for the financial well-being track, more related to the farming industry. Um, so this program, we sought out to kind of calculate how profitable it would be for each section of land in the U.S. So what we ended up doing was breaking down by county and trying to find like the how much money you're going to make on like the land there, like how easy is it going to be like grow food there, or rather just crops, or and yeah, like how the costs are going to vary through each county. Um, and yeah, we ended up making our application in Python. It has to be compiled through a terminal, but it has a functional GUI. So the structure of the project was that we want to kind of just incorporate as much live data as possible, so that we could have like really up to date and really good predictions of how profitable land would be around the United States. So like, oh, if there's a huge gas spike, well then it's going to be harder. It's going to be more costly to make or to farm. So then it's going to become less profitable. So that was our idea. That was a little hard given the time constraints, but and then again, as I said earlier, we focused on the county divisions because that kind of gave a more accurate representation of what's going on at the local setting. And then yeah, we tried to incorporate as many variables as possible, such as like fuel cost and like live crop data. But again, fortunately, we weren't able to really do that so much because we didn't have enough time. So one of the major aspects we tried to do was again pull that live data. So we'll talk about this a little bit later, but we tried web scraping, and we also tried through APIs. This was one we did here. It was through the USDA website, as their Quick Stats API. And this was really useful in pulling the crop yield data from the different counties around the United States, and that was really useful in calculating the productivity. And then again, here's that GUI interface I was talking about. It's pretty basic, but it was an easy way to present the user with the profitability of a certain area.
So here I'm going to talk about some of the cut ideas which we wanted to implement, but unfortunately, due to time, we weren't able to. One of them was web scraping. We had originally intended to implement web scraping using Beautiful Soup within our program in order to get current futures prices of agricultural commodities. However, we had to scrap this idea as many of those websites end up using JavaScript to update those prices in real time, which prevented Beautiful Soup from working on its own, unfortunately. We also tried using Selenium, WebDriver, and Pandas, as these are able to web scrape with websites with JavaScript. However, unfortunately, I think there's just something with our computers. After a long battle with Chromium, Chrome Driver, and attempts to download each package, we had to just give up the approach because it just wasn't working. Another idea we had to cut, unfortunately, was an interactive map that would yield or that would show map field profitability by county. Uh, Again, we had to cut this feature too. With a little more time, we could have created a website instead of a terminal application. We could have implemented the cut features such as web scraping and interactive maps and implemented more variables into the profitability formulas in the table. However, while underdeveloped due to time constraints, our current application acts as a promising foundation in which users are easily able to access information related to crop profitability. This application has huge potential for future expansion. We could incorporate live crop futures and varying costs by county through web scraping to make profitability per county more accurate. We could create a website with an interactive heat map of profitability per acre by county to present the data with that instead of a simple GUI. We could increase the amount of crops we analyze, and we could also create a web tool accessible to all farmers so they can quickly see an accurate value of profitability by acre for each crop in each area of the USA.